Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here, and another naval news update. Yes, naval news is back, and for some more updates. So, as you can see, we have mines in the naval gameplay, and yes, as usual, in starting out, you just build up speed and then crash into something that just spawns in. Yay, the spawn system, everybody, at its best. Anyway, mines are now in. Yes, mines are here and ready to be played with. Now, everybody will get the I've forgotten the name of the boat already, the VS-10. Oh wait, not the VS-10, sorry, the VS-8. Gosh, sorry, yeah, well, my brain's a little bit fried. Naval stuff, yay. So anyway, everybody gets this boat. It's a hydrofoil, it's got lots of guns, and it lays mines. Lots of 15mm guns on board. It's not terrible. It's fast. It's okay. The mine system, well, they've increased the mine duration from 2 minutes to 4 minutes now, so at least they do have time to sit. But in my opinion, mines should have a longer period, just because, well, everybody can see where you're laying them. You can't really sneak a mine attack on somebody. Because the maps are quite open in a majority of cases, and the choke points are usually close to the enemy encampments, so you can't really lay a sort of... Ideally, you'd lay a trail of mines, say, across this section, or this section, but you can't do that because the destroyers are going to be there way before you actually sort of get there. You may lay mines in a cap point, which is an awesome idea. You know, it's a great thing to do. Like, you've got the speed, lay the mines there. But people are going to see you laying the mines there, and they're not going to go in for 4 minutes. They're just going to wait around, let the mines just self-destruct, and then go in there. So there's no real risk to it. Also, the mines do float quite close to the surface, and that's another issue. And they have to float on the surface, of course, because you're fighting tiny patrol boats. But having the ability to set them at maybe sort of 5 inches deep or something like that, 10 inches deep, you know, just so they're below the waterline would be a good option. It would make it harder to spot them, of course, but that is what you want from a mine. You don't want them to be easy to be spotted. At the moment, you sort of, if we look back at where the mines are laying now, I'm laying them in smoke because, again, I'm trying to get it so people can't see where I'm laying them. But when they go in, they just bob on the surface, so they're easy to be shot by machine guns and stuff like that to be taken out. What a better idea would be is, say, you need to send... There you go, you can see that one just bobbing on the surface there, and you do get waves crashing over them, so they're not easy to see, but they're not hard to see either. So, trying to get all my mines out here, trying to lay them in the B point, and laying them in a point where an enemy boat might hit them. But you get no hits with these, like the enemy team had sort of gone before they get there. Might have been good to lay them in the A point, but then we held that for a long time, so it's very hard to work out where to lay mines. Anyway, we have got some news on the changelog server. So, German naval research tree changes. The S-100 has been moved to the right of the S-100 1945, that is, and is now unlocks the ability to research the SF-40. The SV-10 has taken its place in the tree. The SF-40 is no longer required to unlock the AFD-1. So these changes have been put into effect already. Thus, in order to unlock rank 3 for Germany, a player has to research both the SS-100 and the VS-10. It means it's going to take a little bit longer to research destroyers. Russian changelog. The PR-1204 late has now been moved below the PR-1124 1940. It now unlocks the research for rank 3 vessels. The PR-1204 late is now required to research the PR-183, which has been shifted to the right of the research tree. The France and the PR-159 have been switched around on the research tree. BR changes. The German Rambut R301 from 2.0 to 2.3 for all game modes. Class 140141, the Jaguar, from 3.3 to 3.7 in all game modes. Russia has had the most changes, with France being changed from 4.0 to 3.7. The PR159 is now at 4.0 from 3.7, not much difference, it's not really going to affect that thing. The MBK PR186 Mark 85 from 3.3 to 3.0, and the MBK PR186 from 2.7 to 3.0. Britain has had the Fairmile C312 from 3.0 to 2.7, and the USA has had the LCS Mark III moved from 3.3 to 3.7. Yeah, the LSC is a beast, I think. Anyway, that's the main changes. As I said, there has been a change for mines, and they've been put from 2 minutes to 4 minutes now. So that's all the main changes. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about today is torpedoes. Yes, torpedoes. Everybody's well, torpedoes and planes. There will be a video coming out on me being extremely salty about arcade mode and the amount of planes in it. I will be uploading that even, in the next couple of days. However, I wanted to talk about the torpedo system from torpedo bombers and torpedo planes, because at the moment it is broken AF. Why do I say this? Well, at the moment you can just lob a torpedo at somebody and it will go off. So what we're going to do is, in a few moments, we will jump to a plane. There we go, this BTD that's coming in. Apparently with a broken engine, but it does not look broken to me. Now on board are the American airdrop torpedoes, and these are fantastic things. I'm going to be doing a video talking about these as well, because there is a really good video on YouTube with the actual details of the torpedoes, and the reason they have this wooden bit on the torpedo. Now the wood is basically to prevent the torpedo from going off and breaking when it hits the water. It's also to make it glide through the air a little bit easier. So the wooden back box here will fly off, and then the wooden front box here will just shatter when it hits the water, and it will stop the front from being damaged. When a torpedo hits the water, it arms. It usually takes around about, I think it's about 100 yards to arm. So it's not very much, but it does need a little bit of water to arm itself and get ready. And the reason for that is so the plane doesn't go boom. Because, of course, if a torpedo hits the water and goes explodey explodey, then it can damage the plane. So torpedoes need a little bit of time to arm. However, at the moment, we will just slow this down a little bit. Torpedoes do not need any water time to arm, and this has been changed because torpedoes used to need to be able to arm in the water. Now this one here is perfect. This is a beautiful drop. A little bit late, in fact, but it is perfect. You know, the torpedo splashes into the water, goes in, arms, boom. That's the end of the Clemson. However, the next torpedo on me. Now, realistically, it would need to be dropped around about here to arm and get ready and go in the water and prepare itself to go off. However, this is not the case for these torpedoes. The torpedoes can just go off straight away. So, launched it here. Now, the guy has been blown up. And we'll watch the torpedo. And torpedo hits the water now. And that's it. Now, torpedoes need a longer area to arm than that. That was probably about 1 or 2 meters there. And that is not the range they need to arm. They need a little bit more time in the water to arm themselves. When a torpedo hits a boat at that sort of time, it will just be a dud and it will just go bump, make a big hole in the ship or make a big dent in the ship and then just sink to the bottom. It won't go boom. And it's a big problem at the moment because people will just drop torpedoes onto your ship. I've had torpedoes go off in my bridge. Like, I've had a torpedo land here on my boat and go off still and kill me. And it's just nonsensical. It's just, it doesn't work like that. And it is getting really frustrating because they had it working perfectly before in aerial. In aerialistic battle, we'll just quickly head out. You needed to actually drop a torpedo at a set distance. Otherwise it wouldn't arm properly. And this was, you know, part of it so you didn't just suicide yourself into ships to make lots of research points. So, if we look at, say, Swordfish, because this is the greatest torpedo bomber of all time, of course. God save the Queen and King and all of that jazz. But we'll look at the torpedoes. So we'll just launch ourselves off and we'll go and torpedo the cruiser over there. Now hopefully this works for me, because of course me showing something, no doubt it's going to go wrong, which is pretty much the constant thing from my videos, is stuff just going wrong. So we'll get up to a decent altitude, about 159 feet. We'll drop the torpedo here, watch it go in, and that shouldn't have gone off. That torpedo should just be a dud and just go blomp straight to the bottom of the ocean. Now, as you saw as well, the torpedo dropped and just went straight on the flat line, and that wouldn't happen. When you're dropping a torpedo, especially from a high altitude, the torpedo will basically nosedive into the water and then go down and then finally go back up and then level itself off. And you had to be careful of this, and this was a big problem, and this is why the Americans were so cocky about Pearl Harbor being one of the best places, because the torpedoes would need to basically be dropped at an altitude of around about, 20 feet or so to give them the level to float in the water. But the Japanese created much better torpedoes and they could fly and blah blah blah. So what we'll do now is we'll do a low drop it here, let it go in, and then boom. See, and that is how a torpedo should act. That is exactly how it should be. It shouldn't be a late drop thing. Torpedoes do not work on the late drops. It's just very problematic, and it does really affect the way the game is played, because it means that people can just suicide bomb you, and that's another big problem at the moment in Naval, is basically people just going, LOL, I'm just going to crash into you and drop a torpedo at the same time, which just really does bugger up gameplay. Like when you're getting people just coming in at you and just flying at you and just not giving a toss, it really makes it very hard to be enjoyable. We'll show right here what happens when you do such a thing. See, boom, we get blown up. And that is, as I said, that's the real problem, is torpedoes do need a bit of time to arm, and they don't currently have that, so it needs to be fixed. It's something that is, it's very annoying, but it's also quite game-breaking, and it really is affecting the way that games are played. As I said, torpedoes do need slight physics revamp as well, because when you're dropping a torpedo from an altitude sort of above 200 to 300 foot, you're basically going to have the torpedo go down, and as you can see, it's going to nosedive, and it just comes straight back up. It doesn't take time for it to readjust. And look, torpedoes do need that bit of time to readjust, to go back, to bounce back into position. They could actually damage themselves on the sea floor and things like that, dropped in shallow waters. At the moment, that doesn't happen. You can drop them pretty much in the shallowest of waters and they will have no problem at all. So I think airdrop torpedoes do need to have a bit of a look at. They do need to be readjusted. They do need to be changed, because at the moment they are pretty, well, I use the term broken because, well, they are. So yeah, I'll end the video here. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you're enjoying Naval and what you're doing and how everything's going for you, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.